Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia and welcome back to another Better Commandery Guide video. This is our 5th Commandery Guide in just as many days, and I want to first thank all of you for watching these videos. I wanted to push myself a bit this week to make a guide every day as a way of saying thank you to you guys, my wonderful subscribers, as we have recently surpassed the 100 subscribers milestone. However, this will be my last Commandery Guide video before the launch of the 8 Princes DLC on August 8th. I will be taking a break from these Commandery Guide to free up some time to do something completely new on the channel. If y'all watched my Chengdu video yesterday, then you already know what's up. But if you hadn't, then the abridged version is that starting next Monday night at 8 PM Eastern Standard Time, I'll be starting an 8 parts lore series covering the historical events surrounding the 8 Princes time period. Think of them as bedtime stories that will help familiarize yourself with all 8 princes. As my channel is named Serious Trivia, I am super pumped to be doing this historical trivia filled series, and I hope you will all enjoy it as well. Okay, let's get back to today's video. So in the base game of Total War 3 Kingdom, there are a total of 12 playable factions, and each of those factions have at least one unique building chain. I have listed out everyone's unique building chain here in the same order that the factions appear in the game, and color-coded the buildings by their building type. In this guide, we'll review all the unique buildings, compare them with their vanilla counterparts, and discuss the best ways of utilizing them in your games. So let's get started with Cao Cao. Cao Cao is one of the 2 factions with 2 faction unique building chains, and is the only faction to have a unique specialty county building chain in the farmland garrisons. Here we can see that the grain farming garrison provides food and local replenishment, along with the upkeep cost. If we compare it to the regular grain farmland, we can see that we're basically giving up a bit of food and paying a higher upkeep for a local commandery replenishment boost. In Total War 3 Kingdom, replenishment is a very powerful bonus that can help your armies recover quickly after any difficult battle, which will save you precious time and money. Additionally, the garrison version of the grain farmland provide a better mix of garrison units and a more defensible map layout. Therefore, unless you're trying to maximize a certain commandery for food production or are extremely tight on money, you should always go for the garrison variety of the grain farmland when playing at Cao Cao. Now, since the farming garrison faction unique building is applied to all farmland counties, this naturally includes the rice paddy counties down south, since the game counts rice and grain both as the same farmland county. However, we see that the rice farming garrison here also offers food and replenishment with the upkeep costs, with the only difference being that the rice paddy counties, the replenishment bonus becomes a faction-wide bonus instead of a local commandery bonus. This bonus is also stackable if you have multiple rice paddies, therefore making it almost game-breaking. If we strongly value the local commandery replenishment bonus, then we should worship this faction-wide stacking replenishment bonus here. One thing to note about the graphic on the screen is that when I took these image assets, I already had the 25% upkeep reduction reform active, so all the upkeep numbers are 75% of the original value. If you wanted to check on the exact original figures, they're the same as the grain garrison upkeep, so just rewind a bit and check the numbers there. This also applies to the vanilla rice paddy shown here as well. We should also take note that the vanilla rice paddy produces more food, so you end up losing out on more food by going the garrison route for rice paddies, but the faction-wide replenishment bonus is so powerful that it is well worth the cost. In all circumstances, if you're playing as Cao Cao and you end up controlling any of these 9 rice paddies south of the Yangtze River shown here by the green dots on the map, then you should always go for the garrison variety. If you control even just 5 of them, then that's 75% additional replenishment rate on top of your natural replenishment rate from population, which should be around 25%, meaning you'll be running at 100% replenishment rate, or that your units will always heal back to full in just one turn. If that's not game breaking, then I don't know what is. If you're thinking, man, Cao Cao is overpowered, and are already planning out your next campaign with him, then let me remind you, Cao Cao has a second faction unique building in the TUITAN conscription building chain. This unique building chain replaces the vanilla conscription building chain. The first thing to note here is that it has 2 additional levels when compared to the vanilla version. The TUITAN version is slightly better at level 3, as it decreases the population by a tad less than the vanilla version, And at level 5, you see that the 2010 version now has a higher redeployment cost discount at 8% and a 50% boost to food production. Since Cao Cao starts the game in the Central Plains region, filled with agricultural counties and high fertility commanderies, you naturally receive a bunch of Wuxing synergies to build these military buildings. So here we have a powerful military building that offers +3 starting rank to new recruits, an 8% redeployment bonus, +3 seasonal retinue deployment, and most importantly, 50% boost to food production. It is screaming synergies. On top of all this building chain is also historically accurate, as the word 2010 is a phrase in Chinese used to describe the Kingdom of Wei's policy of letting armies devote themselves to farm war-torn lands during times of peace. This is a brilliant move by Wei, as it essentially created this military agricultural complex that helped the war-torn land recover while keeping armies busy and useful during the temporary periods of peace in the Three Kingdom era. So it makes sense such a building chain will produce food and help your new recruits gain experience. All in all, it is a great case of game design that meshed history with gameplay. Next, we move on to Liu Bei's faction unique building chain in the Shuhan tax collection building. This building chain replaces the vanilla tax collection building chain and is superior in every way. We can see here at max level, it causes less public disorder and gains more peasantry income. As a big fan of tax collection buildings myself, I simply adore this building with playing Liu Bei, as Liu Bei also personally have a passive bonus that provides additional public order faction-wide, so you can safely spam this building without having to worry much about the public disorder issues that would normally arise with tax collection buildings for other factions. Next, we have Sun Jian's Mercenary Outpost building chain. This building chain does not replace any vanilla building chain, so this means Sun Jian has 4 different purple or economic buildings available to him, thus 4 sets of Wuxing synergies that he can take advantage of by building these buildings to create a discount to make learning and market or blue buildings cheaper. If we take a look at the building chain here, we can see that this building chain provides a mixture of military and commerce bonuses. For commerce, it provides an increasing commerce income multiplier that maxes out at level 5 at 50%. For military, it provides a valuable local commandery replenishment buff, charges to recruiting mercenary captains, or basically retinues that act like generals, and a faction-wide stackable discount for recruiting these captain retinues. It does, however, come with a hefty upkeep, but since Sun Jian is the king of commerce, as all their harbor building chains includes a 25% faction-wide commerce income boost, this building plays right into that theme, as you have this economic or purple building that provides a commerce income multiplier, so you could technically spam this building as an economic building for Sun Jian, while also enjoying the military bonuses like replenishment. I'm not a big fan of the mercenary captains themselves, as I prefer actual generals, but sometimes when you are in a pinch defensively, mercenaries with their ability to become fully replenished upon recruitment allow you to field a large defensive force rather quickly. Next, we move on to Gongsun Zan's military government building chain. This building chain replaces the vanilla administration office building chain. We can see here that the first 3 levels provide public order, an income multiplier to all sources, along with a small upkeep cost. At level 4, the building chain branches into a military route and a corruption reduction route. In the military route, we get a starting rank boost to all cavalry units, which plays into Gongsun Zan's faction unique units. In the corruption reduction route, we get a local corruption reduction bonus that maxes out at 20%. If we compare these 2 routes, the 3 different possible level 5 configurations of the administration office building, we can see that Gongsun Zan's unique building provides a much stronger income boost and provides public order, which is missing in the vanilla versions. The upkeeps are higher, but the extra income multiplier should offset that. The one weakness is that the corruption reduction isn't applied to adjacent commanderies as well, so you'll be forced to spam these buildings in most of your commanderies to keep corruption under control. This building chain provides some really strong bonuses, and you should gear Gongsun Zan to play around this building. This will mean you should go tall on most of your commanderies, or basically level them up to level 7 small regional cities or higher, so you can build these level 5 versions to increase your income, fight off public order, and decrease corruption all at the same time. You will also speed up your prestige gain this way and rank up to unlock your special military governors. And since the reform requirements for these buildings are red reforms, you can still focus on a military approach when building up your commanderies at the same time. Next, we have Yuan Shao, who also has Administrator Office Replacement Faction Unique Building in the Yuan Administration Office. As head of the Yuan clan, Yuan Shao needs this building to help him acquire more lineage point to spend on expansion and character recruitment. We can also see that this building chain also provides a nice income multiplier to all sources and public order, much like Gongsun Zan's unique building we just talked about. However, unlike Gongsun Zan's building, you can only build the level 5 version of this building once, just like a palace building. So mostly you'll be dealing with level 4 versions with slightly less bonuses. When compared to the vanilla options, we see that once again, we have a much higher income boost while providing public order and lineage point, all for the similar upkeep level. This makes this building very strong, and your key decision will be where to place your Palace of the Yuan, as you can only build it once. The one glaring weakness, however, is that it does not provide any corruption reduction. But I think this was intended, as Yuan Shao's playstyle rely on building a big network of vassals and coalition partners rather than expanding himself, so your territory ends up being smaller, thus your corruption will not be as high as when you play other factions. If you stray away from this intended playstyle, however, then you might find yourself having more trouble dealing with corruption than us other factions. Next, we have Yuan Shao's half-brother, Yuan Shu, with another administration office replacement building in the ZHONG administration. As a disclaimer, I have not played Yuan Shu yet, as I dislike him as a person, but I do know enough about his faction mechanics to say that this building isn't so great. The purpose of this chain is to spend his legitimacy points to boost incomes in his commanderies. Then you're expected to use these cash you gained in diplomacy to buy you back more legitimacy points. It seems like a big circle and a fraud. It also doesn't help that you need legitimacy to recruit characters as well. And when you compare it to the vanilla buildings, you can see that you do get more than double the income multiplier, but that's it. You don't get any corruption bonuses, and you have to spend your precious faction unique resource as an upkeep. And as with Yuan Shao's faction unique building as well, you can only build the level 5 version once. Next, we move on from the coalition and into our 3 governors, starting with Kongrong. Kongrong has a school replacement building chain in the Academies of Culture. As a descendant of Confucius, Kongrong's academies increases population growth, provides public order, and either boosts income from other sources or provides a culture income source that is entirely unique to Kongrong. If you compare it to the vanilla school building chains, you can see that, interestingly enough, Kongrong's academies does not provide any experience for characters. Instead, there are economic building chain that promotes population growth. It is a very strong building chain, placed into the agricultural and commerce commanderies that surrounds Kongrong's starting position. And if you go down the culture income route, the building chain also becomes upkeep free. So in commanderies without an income generating county like Donglai with just the farmland, going the culture income route is just perfect, and it can act as an income generating county for those commanderies. Next, we move on to Liubiao, who has an inn replacement building chain in the lodging. It branches a level 3 into a standard route and a T route, much like the inn building chain itself. If you compare them here, you see that the standard route ends up providing a bigger commerce multiplier, and the T route provides a bonus increase in character experience faction-wide, but keeps the income level the same. Given Liubiao's proximity to Changsha, securing T shouldn't be too hard, so the T route is definitely achievable. The extra experience should come handy, as most of your characters starts the game as old men, so use them while you can. Even the standard route's pretty good, as the additional 20% commerce multiplier is nothing to sneeze at. Next, we have Ma Teng, the Defender of the West, with his XILIANG supply line, which replaces the military infrastructure building chain. If we quickly compare the two, we can see that they are mostly the same, but do have some key differences. First, the supply line does not provide additional garrison, and second, it provides food. Thematically, this implies that as Ma Teng specializes in cavalry, his armies are seen as more of a high mobility defensive force, so garrisons are not needed. As since he starts in the barren western region of China, the extra food is intended to tide him over until he can secure more stable food sources. I am not a great fan of this building chain as well, as I feel like it makes too much change to the original military infrastructure building chain that it replaced. If it was an additional building chain rather than a replacement building chain, I would like it a lot more. Next, we move into the two bandit factions, starting with Zhang Yan. Zhang Yan's faction unique building is the Black Mountain Hideout, which replaces their administration office building chain. It can only be built in their capital. This building chain is very interesting, and I like the flexibility it offers. The building chain branches at level 3 and divides into 3 possible configurations. The first route is the military route. This provides a 25% increase in income from looting settlements, a 25% increase in post-battle loot income, and increases your army cap by 3. The second route is the spying route that gives you 2 additional spying positions and improves your relationship with Yellow Turban factions, who you can't spy on. And the last route is the administrator route that provides 2 administrators, which is a great buff, and it improves your relationship with the Han Empire factions, which are basically non-Yellow Turban factions. If we compare these 3 versions with the vanilla administration office here, we see that these are completely different buildings, and so it's impossible to make any comparisons. The key here is that the Black Mountain Hideout can only be built in your capital. It offers a ton of great options and provides you with different choices of how you want to approach your Zhang Yan campaign. So it's definitely a building you want to pick up as soon as possible. Next, we have Zhengjiang's Bandit LAIR building chain. This building chain does not replace any existing building chain, so it's added on as a 4th agriculture building chain. It provides a powerful stacking faction-wide replenishment bonus at the cost of local commandery economy. The upkeep is high, and the banditry effect reduces local commandery tax income by a percentage. Thematically, you're inviting bandits into a commandery. You get replenishment bonus, but you have to pay the bandits upkeep costs and allow them to raid the local tax income as well. This building is potentially good in those 1 farmland county commanderies in the north, where you can only build for food production and just simply ignore the income levels. Being an agricultural building, you can also use it to pair up with other agricultural building to build up a strong Wuxing synergy, so you can build military buildings cheaply. Zhengjiang has a second unique building chain as well in the tribute hall, shown here. This replaces the administration office building chain and only does one thing: it increases your tribute in diplomacy. Given this fact, my opinion of Zhengjiang as a faction is that they are a strongly military-focused faction that really ignores commandery building and just use their armies to strike fear into other factions, forcing them to pay tributes, which in turn becomes more armies to repeat this cycle. Lastly, we have the tyrant Dongzhuo himself, who has a unique enforced conscription building chain that replaces the vanilla conscription building. If we compare the two, we see that the enforced conscription building chain has 2 additional levels. At level 3, it causes less population penalty and provides public order. At level 5, it introduces an upkeep cost, which I am not a fan of, but it does provide a greater redeployment discount 8%, a -2 mustering turn bonus, and a +8 public order. Overall, it is superior to the vanilla conscription building, but if you compare it to other conscription faction unique building like Cao Cao's Twin Tian conscription, I prefer that much more over Dongzhuo's enforced conscription. The additional public order and mustering turn bonuses are nice, but they just don't interest me as much as they come with the upkeep costs. So I tend to just keep this building at level 3, which I feel is sufficient enough of a boost over the vanilla versions. So with that, we have concluded our guide. I want to thank you all for watching, and hopefully this guide can help you in your games. Please stay tuned on the channel this weekend for the Reform Guide series that will continue with the purple and blue reform trees, and we will wrap up all 5 colors then, and I'll be releasing the redrawn complete version of the full tree as well. Lastly, I want to remind you all again that there will be no new Commandery guide videos until the release of the 8 Princes on August 8th. In the meantime, please come back to my channel next week to enjoy my upcoming lore series starting next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you enjoy your weekend and see y'all then. Bye!